No, but I can see you
Yes, sir. You can see me because my video is open.
because now you know me.
We can also see him, sir. We can see him.
Other person you can see me.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. We can see you, sir.
Okay.
सर आपको मैं बहुत बार बार बोल रहा हूँ वीडियो ऑन करने के लिए, आप क्या करिए? अच्छा, नहीं आपका आपका ऑडियो वीडियो दोनों बंद है, इसका मतलब आप बॉटम बॉटम में टास्क बार है ना सर, टास्क बार नीचे बॉटम में सर, एकदम एकदम नीचे आप देखिए, गोले गोले बने होंगे, गोले गोले से बने होंगे नीचे, आप कर्सर को नीचे ले जाएंगे। नहीं सर दिखेगा। तो आप बॉटम में जाइए, जैसे ही आप गोले गोले आ रहे हैं ना, उसमें देखिए एक एक माइक बना है, उसको ऑन करिए, फिर वीडियो बना है, उसको ऑन कर दीजिए।
यूज कर सकते हो, ये प्रॉब्लम जिसमें मैंने कहा था हम लोग जूम हम यूज नहीं कर रहे
नहीं, अभी जूम का मतलब
ऑन हो गया,
हैं, बैन कर दिया ना।
उसको दबाने से नहीं हो रहा है ऐसे कैसे? हाँ सर, उसमें सबसे पहला जो है, सबसे लेफ्ट में जिसमें माइक बना है, एक में वीडियो बना है। हाँ जी, हाँ बस उसको क्लिक करेंगे आप तो वीडियो आ जाएगा, दूसरे को क्लिक करेंगे तो हाँ, ऐसे बस मेरा तो आ रहा है। हाँ वो घूम रहा है, नहीं घूमता नहीं है सर, उसका हाँ जो सर, जो सर सबसे पहला ना जिसमें माइक बना है, नहीं उसको आप क्लिक करिए, उसमें हो सकता है कि आपका स्पीकर में वो कौन सा वाला आपको ऑन करना है वो, और वीडियो में तो डायरेक्ट ऑन करेंगे आप, वो ही नहीं हो रहे हैं। आप एक बार लॉग आउट करके फिर लॉग इन करिए। हाँ जी, हाँ जी, लेकिन मैं शुरू कर रहा हूँ सर, जल्दी ज्वाइन करिए। ठीक है सर, नहीं आप एक बार हाँ लीव करके फिर ज्वाइन करिए।
रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए बरोबर.
म्यूट हो गया। म्यूट क्या, म्यूट आ गया अभी, आवाज आई मेरी? इसको वीडियो वाला नहीं हो रहा है, वो दिखाता है कि इज द वेबकैम इंस्टॉल प्रॉपर्ली
प्रॉब्लेम. ठीक आहे, खाली जेवढे शिवान नारायण दत्त बरोबर माऊली आनंद अवधानी कोणी नाही ना, म्यूट करून बोलत होतो. हो मला केलं का म्यूट माझी. व्हिडिओची गरज आहे. नको.
कलिता जी आपका वीडियो नहीं आया, प्लीज ऑन
Um,
करिएगा।
the other member can see me. I think you asked because I can see you.
अच्छा नहीं, you can see me but I'm not able
No,
to
no,
see
you
you.
ask some other person. No, sir. Because my video is on. I no, you ask others who's panel sitting here.
अर्जुन जी
मोहिंद्र सर,
वो
हाँ
दिख
जी,
रहे हैं, वो दिख रहे हैं अर्जुन जी. आई कैन सी हिम.
ओके यू कैन सी हिम,
या आई
ओके
कैन सी.
ओके। रवि जी नहीं आए अभी, ज्वाइन करें वो।
रवि जी इज ऑनलाइन बट उनका ऑडियो अभी ऑफ है, वीडियो नहीं आ रहा
हाँ उनका वीडियो नहीं आ रहा।
है. वीडियो का देयर इज अ सेटिंग इन यहाँ पे.
अब मैंने
आप
उनको
अगर
वही बताया है, वो अभी दोबारा रिकनेक्ट कर रहे हैं।
ऑडियो में जाके स्पीकर, माइक्रोफोन, कैमरा में चेक करने से आ जाता है. आपको सिस्टम सिस्टम यूज, अगर कोई एडिशनल कैमरा ऑन कर देता तब नहीं आता है. यू हैव टू यूज द इंटीग्रेटेड कैमरा.
हाँ वही उनको बोला है, तो कह रहे हैं कि अभी हम रिज्वाइन कर रहे हैं।
Can I say
ठीक है.
because his I think a lot of things is a good spot, so we can start the meeting with them.
तो शुड वी स्टार्ट?
Yeah, we can start the meeting because I think he's coming.
ओके
It's
मोहिंद्र
3:12 now.
सर, ओके मोहिंद्र सर विल स्टार्ट।
You can start, sir.
ओके सर, आई विल बिगिन।
हाँ जी सर।
So, good evening, namaskar, and welcome to all esteemed guests and printers participating in this session from all across India. So, I'm Harjinder Singh, your host of today's session, and with me presenting WebEx is Shri A.K. Mahindra ji, who is also Member Secretary of BIS, and we all have gathered here today to attend a long-awaited technical session with BIS for the first time with AIFMP. And today's topic is printing industry need for standardization. We are honored to have with us our esteemed guests from BIS. We have Shri Jayanta Roy Chaudhary ji, who is Deputy Director General, Head of Standardization, BIS, Government of India. We have our speaker today, Shri Rajneesh Khosla ji, who is Scientist E and Head of Mechanical Engineering Department, BIS, and from the AIFMP team, we have Shri Dibjyoti Kalita ji, who is President of AIFMP. We have with us Shri K. Rajendran ji, who is Honorary General Secretary AIFMP. We also have Shri Ravindra Joshi ji, who is immediate past President AIFMP. So without taking any much time, I'll now request the speaker of today's section, Shri Rajneesh Khosla ji, to start with the presentations. Unfortunately, as I'm being told by the member secretary right now that Shri Jayanta Roy Chaudhary ji would not be able to participate in this session just because of his some unavoidable situation, because his father has been medically some issues within his family, so that's why he won't be able to join. So we are going to start a session with the technical session with Shri Rajneesh Khosla ji, and I'll request him to please come forward, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Harjinder Singh ji, and a very good afternoon to all the august members from the printing industry who are participating in this webinar. And this is a very proud moment for us that we are getting associated with you. And in my technical presentation, I would like to introduce you to the various standardization concepts. I think at the end of the seminar, I think the knowledge level regarding standardization would really, I think it would have increased quite a bit. So with these words, I would now like to start my presentation. ये नहीं दूसरे दूसरे वाला is the slides visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So my first presentation would be standards and the importance of participation in standardization. So as you can see, the role of standards has taken up much prominence in the last 5 to 6 years. Why is this a phenomenon happening? This is because standards are nowadays writing the rules of the trade. The standards are deciding how trade will take place. Now, do we want to write the rules of the trade by participating in standardization, or do we want others to write the rules of trade for us? Because standardization will happen whether or not we like it or whether or not we participate in it. It is only that if you participate in standardization that you can use the standards for your own advantage. Now we see that in the recent times, we have seen that there are many cases where the tariffs has been increased by US and other countries to restrict trade. But the major component where trade is affected is by use of technical regulation. Technical regulation, or in layman term, what we can call it as mandatory standards. Now, as per the WTO TBT agreement, a country has the right to adopt a mandatory standard or technical regulation if it is for the objective of protection of human health, safety, protection of environment, national security requirement, prevention of deceptive practices. However, countries are using them to reduce imports, promote local manufacturing, and enhance competitive position in the global market. Excuse me. हेलो हाँ ऑफिस एक सेमिनार चल हाँ मैं सेमिनार दे रहा था वेबिनार मैं 5 मिनट आधे घंटे में कॉल करूँ आपको हाँ ठीक है बाय next. So usually the standards usually go on unnoticed. We only realize the standards are there when the problem arises. The lack of standard can have severe consequences and can result in loss of property and life. Now, if we see the examples, if we see the example of unit of measurements, we have using the yards, the inches, the pins. The layout of the computer board, whether we use it in India or abroad, is the same. The size of clothing, that is also standardized. The vehicle norms, like we see the European norms for pollution, EN 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is the same. Even the paper formats are standardized, and the communication protocols that are used for communication by use of technologies like WhatsApp, SMSs, all have communication protocols involved, which are able to talk to each other and able to recognize each other. So what is standard? Standard is, in layman term, a combined wisdom of people with expertise in the subject who know the needs of the concerned problem. So it is the combined wisdom of people who have got the expertise. They sit together and they formulate a guideline which is called standard. If we see the ISO definition, it is a bit more technical. It says that the activity of establishing with regard to actual or potential problem, provision for common and repeated use aimed at the achievement of optimum degree of order in a given context. So, why are standard important? They are important as they indicate the product safety. Now, if you see the standard for a uh, packaged drinking water bottle, which we consume every day when we go out, it will, if you see the standard, it will clearly show that the product is having the following. The standard will say that it will not have any microbiological contamination. It will say it will not have any chemical. It will not have any radioactive isotope. Its taste will be good. Its TDS content would be right. So all these things are given in the standard, which clarify the health risk, environmental risk, and increase transparency in the market. They create compatibility. Suppose we have got a plug and we have got a socket. Now we can buy plug and socket from any company. If it is a 6 ampere plug and socket, any company's plug will fit in any company's socket. So the compatibility is there. Similarly, it creates a level playing field. Suppose in case MSMEs want to compete with the larger companies, if you say I have got ISI mark product and they have also got ISI product, then it says that they are producing the same quality of product and thus provide a level playing field for all the players. The efficiency requirement are clearly indicated that the minimum efficiency of a product should be this, and only after complying with the minimum efficiency that the product is qualified as a standard product, which is said to be basically complying with the standard. So the efficiency is this: it will reduce the manufacturing cost as the standard provides for optimum degree of raw material. It will, we cannot say that if you use a standard, you will get gold standard. You will get the optimum quality which is required. So if somebody says, I want to make a printing press made of gold, the standard will never specify such a thing. The standard will only specify the optimum degree that is required for fitness of use. Then it is necessary for diffusion of technology as well. The standard contribute for, like we have seen in the case of clothes. If a manufacturer did not know how many sizes it has to make, the variety will be innumerable, infinite variety. But now we know that when we have to make clothes, we have to make clothes as per S, L, XL, triple XL, double XL. So there are 5 categories only. Similarly, the compatibility, I have already told you, this case of switch and socket. Interchangeability and compatibility go hand in hand. Health and safety, in case of water, I have already ensured. Consumer protection. Suppose a product is found to be non-complying, the consumer can always say that this product is non-complying. It will be tested against the standard and it is found non-complying. Then damages can be claimed from the manufacturer. The standards are made in such a way that they are integrated with the protection of the environment. For many a standard where MSMEs are involved, it also helps in dissipation of the technical information. In trade, it creates a level playing field, like I've already told. For the industry, it is a strategic tool for influencing the market. You can always say my product is a quality product as it is complying to a particular Indian or international standard. It helps you to know there are testing methods that are given in the standard. The testing method, if you use, it will help you to enhance the quality of the product and efficiency of the product. It will facilitate interoperability of product and processes, and efficiently it will make available the technical information. It will also provide you the market access by providing you a level playing field. Why are the standard important to consumer? They are important as a consumer you know by reading the standard that this product, whether it will be safe for the human consumption, for the environment, whether the quality of the product is good, how many tests it is complying, whether it will be compatible with other products being used. Because when we use cable, we can attach it in geysers, we can use it in electric iron, we can use it the cable in fans. So whether this cable is compatible with the other item, whether it will not have any induction effect, whether it will improve the quality, reduce the quality of the product attached to it, all is seen in the standard before the standard is. For the technologists who are who are involved in R&D activity, they know that they don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. Suppose I want to make an innovation in a mobile phone, I want to use a hi-fi camera, or I want to improve the sound quality. I don't have to reinvent the mobile phone. The mobile phone standard is already there, so I can just see the standard, and then I have to work over and above the standard. So the standard act as a baseline for research and innovation. For the government, it is very important vehicle for the policy implementation. Like you see that the government is introducing many quality control order in order to stop the substandard import from the Chinese market and from other countries, and to promote the manufacturing in countries. So the standards are used by the government for the strategic issues. So what are the different levels of standardization? The standardizations happen at an individual level. Suppose I can make standard for myself that I will get up at such time, I will go to office in such a way, I will do my work in such a fashion, so I can create the standard for myself. Then at the company level, I can have my own standards, like the product that I'm making will be made in such a manner, its inspection will be done in such a manner, it will be put to use in such a manner. So these will be the marking that I will carry out. These are the tests that I will carry out for company standards. Similarly, association level, then national level standardization, like BIS is a national standard body. Then we have the regional standard body like CEN, EN standard are there, SARC standards are there. Then ISO, IEC international standard are there, and then the consortium standard are there, which are also there. So if we see the complex part of standardization, we see that there is a world standard cooperation where we have three bodies like ISO, IEC, ITU. The ISO makes standard for all the product except telecom and electrotechnical. For electrotechnical, there is IEC, that is International Electrotechnical Commission, and for telecom standard, there is International Telecommunication Union, which helps in making the standard. Then we have the UN system where the UN makes a standard, like the International Labour Organization is there, which makes standard for labor. Then Codex Alimentarius is there, which makes standard for the food item. Then we have UNEC, which makes standard for automobile and the tires, and WHO, which makes standard for the medical. We have the national standard body like BIS is there in India. The ISO, we have one national standard body, one vote system. Then FNOR is for France, BSI for UK, DIN for Germany. Similarly, we have a national standard body for other. There are other standard organizations like IEEE, we have ASME, ASTM. So similarly, these are the complex word how we operate our standardization world. So if we see the standard can be, like I told you, individual, company, association, national, regional. The standard can be made on engineering, industry, commerce, science, education, transport, and the standard has various aspects. Like the standard may be a standard only giving the terminology or nomenclature, or it may be given the product specification, or it may be a standard for sampling technique, or a standard for test analysis, or standard for limitation of variety, or standard for code of practice. So it can be a standard for any of those aspects. the principle of good standardization we have, that is coherence, effectiveness, development dimension, openness, and uh, transparency. So all these, all these things that are very important in standardization. The standard is irrelevant if it is not effective and relevant to the present world. The standard would not serve any purpose if there is a partiality towards a particular group of manufacturers or country. The openness means any document that is produced by that body is available to all. Transparency is if any member wants to take part in standardization, then it will have the option of becoming a member of the committee. The development dimension, like in case of MSMEs, they don't have much resources. So the standard body would create the proper environment that the large and medium scale industry as well as MSME can participate in the standardization. The most important thing in the standard making thing is to form a consensus, because we often see that when two experts sit, they do not agree with each other. Here a whole lot of 20-25 experts have to sit and form a standard. So to come at a common point, to come at an agreement is the main thing that slows down sometimes the standardization process, because the experts do not come to a common ground. But it does not mean that if a single party is against a particular thing, they can stop the standardization process. So consensus does not mean unanimity. It just means that the general agreement characterized by absence of sustained opposition on substantial issues. So if a general consensus is obtained in majority of the member, then we can make the standard. There is no voting in BIS as far as building consensus is concerned. In ISO and IEC, whereas where 140 countries are involved, their consensus is tried to be obtained. However, you cannot guarantee it. So voting takes place, where 2/3 voting says that the standard should be adopted, then it is adopted. So these are the stakeholders, industry, consumer, academia, which form part of the committee. This is the stage, how the work in standardization works. A new work item can be proposed by anybody. Suppose, I think this stage we will take up in detail in my next presentation. So we can just see that new work item is proposed. The expert in they are appointed in by the committee for making the working draft. The working draft from the expert reaches the committee, which is called the preliminary draft. After the committee considered it, it is put up for public commenting, which is wide circulation, and then the finalized draft is there, which is called gusted to form an Indian. So why it is important to participate in standardization? The standardization influence the resulting standard. It leads to greater understanding of the product, early awareness. If you are participating in the standard making, you will know what are the information, what are the tests, what are the conditions that are going to come in the standard, so you can prepare early. For the people who are not participating in standardization, they will come to know about standardization only when the standard comes out. However, if you are participating, you get your chances of commercial risk is less. You can work towards the product early and then gain greater market access. So at the end, I would only ask you to take a strategic decision whether we want to become standard makers or we want to remain passive and become standard takers. So this is my first presentation where I have emphasized on the importance of standardization. Next, we will do go to the presentation, which I will discuss in detail how standardization process actually take place. So the core activities of BIS is standard formulation, like the product conformity, which says product certification, self-declaration for electronic good, hallmarking of good, and ISO 9000, 14000 system certification. We also have 8 labs, and we also have a training institute at Noida. So how does formulation of standard take place? Now, formulation of standard take place in this hierarchy. There is a governing council which is headed by the Minister of Consumer Affairs. He is the president, and he is Mr. Ram Vilas Paswan as of now. And every Minister of Consumer Affairs de facto becomes the president of the governing council. They only give a broad guideline of the government direction where the standardization process should go. Then we have a standard advisory committee. This constitutes of experts from the industry, CII, FICCI, academia, NGO, testing laboratory, who guide us that how the country should go about and the national standard body should go about this standardization process. Then we have the division council. The division council we will just see after this. There are 15 division council that are the areas where we do standardization. So these are the basically 15 division councils in which we are making standard at present. Civil engineering, chemical, electronic. So in each division council there are sectional committees. Like we have the printing sectional committee which are looking after printing standards. Similarly, for other division also they have got sectional committees. We have got in mechanical engineering department 28 sectional committees. So if the scope of the sectional committee is too large, it can then form sectional committee, can form a subcommittee to look after. Suppose we have a committee for refrigeration and air conditioning. Now both the fields are very heavy. So the sectional committee can have 2 subcommittees for refrigeration and air conditioning because the experts in both the committees are different. For specific, suppose we have to make a new standard draft or we have to discuss on a new subject where highly expertise subject is there, then we form a panel for providing us information. So like I told you, who are the stakeholders who form the sectional committee? The government people, the regulator, in our committee we have Mr. Bansal, who is the Directorate of Printing of Government of India, who is the chairman. Then we have he is also the regulator. Then we have industry people like you. Then we have laboratories. We are R&D Institute, consumer, and then we have people from IITs and other people who participate in the sectional committee. So we have 15 division council, 354 sectional committee are there, and we have more than 20,000 standard at present. So what is the procedure of standard formulation? So I will cover the general concept, the structure of standard development, stages of work, amendment, review and review. The standardization definition I have already told you. I think we need not go into that again. So like the ISO definition of standard, I have already told you this also. So consensus also we have discussed. So we go to the types of standard. So we have 5 type of standard, 6 type of standard. The first is a basic standard. The basic standard are those like basic design standard, drawing standard, limits and fits, color coding standard. These are the basic standard. Then we have the terminology standard, like many standards are there which give the terminology of a subject. Suppose I am going into a subject of, you can say, earth moving equipment. So there will be one standard, part 1, which will give the terminology of various earth moving equipment this terminology is then not repeated again and again. Means in the other standard, suppose we have part 1 terminology, part 2 will be suppose unloaders. So the terminology that is used, that will be used in the standard, is given in part 1. So everybody, sometimes people do not understand a common language. So the terminology that is used in the standard is given in the terminology standard. Then we have the testing standard, that is self-explanatory. The product standard will give the product specification. Then we have the process standard, which give how the process of, like in the case of LPG cylinder, how the LPG cylinders would be formed. The whole process is given in the standard. Then we have service standard, various service standard, which is very self-explanatory. The service given in different places. So what is the basic consideration in the national standard? It is based on consensus principle, access to international technology, all latest R&D, and coordination with other level of standards. This I think we have already explained. So the aim is that fitness of purpose should be achieved, compatibility should be there, interchangeability should be there, variety control. This I think I have already explained in my previous slide, the user benefits of standardization. So that the main thing is that you should only make those standards which are needed, timely, current, acceptable, and implementable. If the standard are not needed, no matter how much you can publicize a standard, nobody is going to take it. So they should be timely. It should not be there that technology, we take 3 years, 4 years in making the standard, and by that time the technology has already gone by. The new technology has come. So it must be timely and current. And it should be acceptable to all. If it should be acceptable, if the consensus principle is applied uniformly, and it should be implementable. We should not put any test which cannot be carried out. So this I have already explained. Next. So division council, we have already explained that division councils have members from consumer, regulators, government body, industry, scientists. There are 15 division councils in which we can say these are the technical areas in which the different standards, that are 20,000 standards that we have formulated, are divided. So what is the function? It advises on the subject area to be taken up for formulation of standard. It will tell to the sectional committee, please make standard on this area. Like the division council of textile, in this area they told that the sectional committee should urgently make standard for mask, or standard for ventilators, which are now needed for COVID. So these standards and the division council has the responsibility of guiding the sectional committee in which areas it should work. The main standards are made by the sectional committee. The sectional committee are appointed by the division council, and like we have the sectional committee, printing sectional committee is there. So it has members from the manufacturer, it has members from the consumer, regulatory body, science and technology, consultant. Sometimes the perception is that BIS makes the standard. BIS does not make the standard. BIS only facilitates the making of the standard, or you can say it facilitates the process and publishes the standard. But all the inputs that are given in the standard are not by BIS. BIS member secretary may from time to time contribute. However, the majority of the contribution in the standard is from the stakeholder other than BIS. The manufacturers, the industry, the scientific, the academia, these are the one which make the. In the committee structure, we have the balance of interest. If we take too many manufacturers, then maybe the standard will go in the manufacturing direction. So we take manufacturer, user, regulator in proper proportion, so that there is a balance that is made. Like I told you previously, that in case where the committee has too large a scope, then the committee, sectional committee, can give specific tasks to specific area to a subcommittee. Like I told you, in case of air conditioning and refrigeration, the refrigeration and air conditioning both are separately a very wide field. So you can always find that you can always form a subcommittee on very large areas. Then there are panels which are set up to look after very specific and time-bound tasks. Suppose I get a request in this committee that kindly make a standard for the offset, for the printing offset. So I will request the chairman to form a panel that will look after and prepare the draft of this standard. So very specific, they will produce a draft standard and then put up to the subcommittee and sectional committee for further deliberation on it. So like I told you, a new work item proposal is given. It can be given by anybody from the government, anybody from the industry, an individual person. Anybody can give a new work item proposal. Then when it is received by the committee, it is evaluated, which I will show you next. The member secretary will evaluate it, and then it will be put up to the sectional committee. The sectional committee will, if it accepts it, it will give it to a group of experts, where stage 2 comes. The group of experts will make a working draft, and then they will put up to the stage 3, to the preliminary draft, to the committee, sectional committee. The sectional committee will deliberate it. It will add its comments and incorporate its comments on it, on the draft, and then it will decide that okay, it is now good for public consultation. It will be sent for at least 1 month for public consultation. After the comments are received from the public, then again the committee will meet. They will finalize the comments, and they will sort out the comments which are necessary to be put in the standard, which are extra comments and which can be removed, and then the finalized draft is produced. The secretariat of the sectional committee is responsible for the management of all projects. In this case, the secretariat is with BIS, and the BIS member secretary is responsible that all standards are made, formulated in a timely manner. The program of work of a sectional committee comprises of all the projects that the sectional committee, including maintenance of published standards. So it will give you, when you see the program of work, you will come to know at what stage what document is there. So in the development of Indian standard, we have got various stages. The first is projects, the proposal stage, preparatory stage, committee stage, approval stage, and publication stage. So the proposal stage, like I told you, the request may come from government, it may come from ministry, it may come from technologists, it may come from anybody. So when the performer comes, it is this performer. Suppose somebody says, I want to suggest a new topic. So we send him this performer, or this performer is also available online. When you online give on from a website, you will have to fill certain detail. What is the scope of the standard? Means why it is needed. What is the status of the industry? What is export? What is import? That is there. What is the availability of testing facility? And if you can provide a draft, then you can ask. If you are in a position to provide a draft, then we welcome. So after receiving and after seeing whether the project is okay, then the member secretary will decide, and it will give the rating whether it is of low priority, medium priority, or high priority. And suppose, so while deciding on high, medium, low, it is he has to see what is the expected implementation, whether it will be used in making a quality control order or technical regulation, whether it is a national priority, whether it will affect the export and safety. Based on all these factors, he will decide whether the element is of high risk, low risk, or medium risk. So the The work starts after the proposal is received, then the preparatory work starts. In the preparatory work, like I told you, the sectional committee will give the work to a group of experts, which will form a working draft on the subject. Once the working draft is presented to the committee, it becomes a preliminary draft, and it shall be circulated to all the committee member to have a look at it. Then the committee member give their comment on it. The draft is improved, and then when it is finalized, it goes to the next stage, that is wide circulation stage. So if you want to, the committee member want to give the comments on the document, there is a table so that these comments can be compiled in a proper fashion and are able to ably put up in the agenda of the next meeting. So the comments of the comments on the WD draft or the P draft are reviewed by the committee, and once they decide that these are the comments that we want to incorporate and these are the comments that we want to do away with, the P draft is finalized. That they approve the P draft as wide circulation draft. When the proposed draft is approved by the sectional committee for wide circulation, it becomes a draft standard for public comment. So to whom this when we say that it is going for public commenting, it that means we have a list of key producers, key consumer, key technologists, our licenses. We send the draft to all these parties and take their comment. The final stage after the draft is approved and finalized by the sectional committee, it is processed for printing. Once it is printed, it is gazette notified as a national standard. So I will go through it again. The proposal stage, we have a new work item proposal. Then when we go to the preparatory stage, the group of experts prepare a working draft. When the working draft comes to the committee, it becomes a preliminary draft. The committee works on the preliminary draft and adds its input and comment in it, and then it becomes a wide circulation draft, which is circulated for public commenting. After the comments are received in wide circulation draft, the committee again meets and finalizes the document as national standard. So there are various priorities, like for high priority, like I told you, high, medium, low. We have given that it should be normally made in 12 months time. And when for the normal and the high, we have priority 2, which is 28 months. And we try to make the standard in this time. However, we are trying to expedite it. So again, the formulation process, I will repeat it, that first the proposal is received, then the member secretary establishes the need for that the standard is required or not by going through that performa. Then a meeting of the technical committee takes place. Then the work is assigned for the preliminary draft to a group of experts. The group of experts then give their draft, and then the working draft, when it is circulated to the committee member, it becomes a preliminary draft, and then the meeting of technical committee take place, and they approve the preliminary draft for wide circulation. Wide circulation, public commenting, it goes to all the stakeholders, and based on their comment, again the standard is finalized by the committee. This is how the draft are finalized. So the typical content of a standard, it will have a foreword. The foreword will give that this standard, we have taken help of this ISO standard, IS standard, or when this standard was historically first made. If it is a revision, then the scope of the standard will give the scope, that what is the boundaries under which we have made the standard. The references will give the list of national and international standard that we have referred. Then it will give the terminology that is used in the standard. Then it will have a classification of standard. Classification may be based on the raw material, based on the type of technology that is used. Then the manufacturing process, sometimes it is given. However, now the latest practice is that you do not give the manufacturing practices, as it hinders the innovation. And then we give the requirement, physical, chemical, mechanical, then how the testing of these requirements are to take place, how sampling is to be done, how packaging is done, and how marking is done. So the standard will have all these components in. So we have already learned. So we can also give this in the form of a diagram. We can always, like you can see, the new work item proposal is given, then a group of expert working draft. Working draft is given to committee member discuss it, give their comments on the WD draft, and it becomes the P draft. When the P draft is finalized for public, it is circulated to the committee member again, and the committee member then again give their comment on it, and based on the final comments, it becomes a wide circulation draft. A wide circulation draft comments are given by open public, and by the meeting, the comments are finalized and it becomes a national standard. So every 5 years, we review the standard. However, whenever there is a need from the stakeholder that the amendment is required, it is taken up to correct the standard, or wherever it is felt that the standard needs some correction urgently, we take out the amendment of the standard. So for typographical error, we do not need anything else permission. The BIS itself can issue a corrigendum. If it is a technical amendment, then again we have to take it up to the sectional committee, and sectional committee then takes the decision, and again they go to the public comment for 1 month, and based on the comment, then the amendment is finally finalized. So issue of an amendment without circulation as a draft or public comment, like I've already told you, there are special powers in case of emergency. The Director General can issue an amendment, but it has to be ratified by the sectional committee within 6 months. So, suppose there is no need for amendment or anything. There is no requirement. Nobody has said the amendment should be made. Every 5 years, the standard are again reviewed, whether the technology has changed, whether the present practice is there, whether amendment is needed or not. So they are reviewed every 5 years, whether or not any comments have come on the standard. So based on the review, if there is no change and the sectional committee finds that the standard is still good to go, then they reaffirm it in the same part. If they find that some changes are required, they may issue amendment. If they find that very large changes are required, then they may issue a revision to the standard. And they also, if you find a standard has become obsolete, no longer required, they can declare the standard as obsolete. And but in the case of excellence, though the standard is not required anymore, however, as for the equipment, that old equipment that have been made or purchased by the standard, for their servicing, it should continue. and when we find that even for service it is not required, we withdraw the stamp. So I have already explained you reaffirmation, withdrawal, revision. So for the transparency of work, like I told you, if you go to the BI's website, you can see the program of work, which will show the position of each and every document being dealt by the committee and all other information. Like I told you that all the stakeholders participate in this activity of standard. With this, I come to the end of my presentation. If there are any questions, doubts that you want me to take out or want to explain again, you are welcome.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving an overview about BIS, and it was a nice experience, I hope, for the printers to understand the working and the standardization process being followed by the BIS. Here, I would also like to mention that the standardization process is very essential and important nature, because it helps in building a better environment and systems for the manufacturers, as well as also supports the buyers that they are assured of buying a quality product from the market. So thank you so much, sir. And with that, I'll read out your profile, which I earlier missed out. I hope you will excuse me for that. So, Shri Rajneesh Khosla ji is Scientist E and Head of the Mechanical Engineering Department of BIS. Shri Rajneesh Khosla is a mechanical engineer with Masters in Quality Management System. He has also done his MBA in International Business. Shri Khosla has more than 20 years of experience in the mechanical engineering sector. He started his career in KG Khosla Compressors Limited. Subsequently, he joined BIS and has worked in the certification, foreign certification, laboratory, standardization, and international relations department of BIS. At present, Shri Rajneesh Khosla is working as head of mechanical engineering department of BIS, overseeing the work of 28 sectional committees of mechanical engineering department involved in standardization activity for various mechanical engineering products. He is also member secretary of MEDC and Energy Management and Energy Savings Sectional Committee, MED 39. So thank you so much, sir. We'll take up the question and answer session immediately after the address from the President of AIFMP, Shri Dibjyoti Kalita ji. So I'll request all participants to get their questions ready for the speaker, which we'll take up immediately after the address from the President AIFMP, Shri Dibjyoti Kalita ji. So I'll now request sir to please give his address. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Harjinder. Good evening, everyone. Today, on behalf of All India Federation of Master Printers, I am very happy because today, Bureau of Indian Standard Government of India, Webinar Industry Standardization is a, as on today, is a very important. Today, myself also, I was not aware. Anyway, but today, we have missed today Director General Mr. Jayanta Roy already our Harjinder told that he is not present today, some due to his technical problem. But we know the BIS National Standard Body of the Indian established under BIS Act 2016 for the harmonious development of the activities of standardization, making and quality certification of goods and for metal connecting therewith. But we are All India Federation Master Printers. More than 2.5 lakhs printers already we have our in panel all over India. So I think today's technical session very nicely explained Mr. Vinay Kalaskarji. So I am very happy. I think so many participants is sitting here today. And because as on today and due to COVID-19, it is very helpful for our entire printing fraternity. But it will not only today this type of meeting on online. I think it will be for future. But I think one day we cannot cover all this. But it's very, I think, very useful for our standard of any kind of, I think, into our home also. So once again, but from behalf of our federation, for it will be, I think, for future, we'll contact with BIS and it will be more help for our quality of printing, any others. And finally, standard process for printing and printing machinery is needed, is also essential to be created so that India remains updated with all international standards, which is also an ever-going process. We believe that together we may be able to derive methods of improving the technologies used in manufacturing printing equipments, which is also basic requirement in India, and AFMP will welcome all sorts of initiatives wherever quality and durable printing machineries and allied equipments may be manufactured in our own country. All cost-effective machineries will mainly contribute towards the growth of the printing industry and may also help in increasing the printing exports from our country only if we are able to produce quality products with lowest possible prices. Our industry is being posed with a huge challenge from China in the printing export, and to counter all such situations, we need to consolidate our industry and transform in such a way that we may be able to take on the treat we is, so the situation are such that the federation, government and BSL all need to work towards the development of system at first pace that may make possible an overall growth of the print industry. And today I must say on his name, Mr. Harjinder. So all this is today's activity is the backbone. And I discussed with our AGS Rajendra ji, our immediate past president Joshi ji, and entire our OB. We discussed, I think today, I think we are very helped our entire printing fraternity. So we do constant of all of us them for such important topic today. We are very much glad to participate in the webinar. My thanks to all of you as you are participating in webinar, sparing your valuable time to make the topic printing industry need for sanitation lovely. So now I request Mr. Harjinder Singh, please go ahead with the agenda for webinar. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. We are waiting for the questions. We'll wait for 1 minute. If you allow me to wait for 1 minute, then if we see any questions being posted in the chat box, we'll take it up, or else we'll come to the end of the session. Okay, sir. We have not received any questions till now. So I hope your presentation was up to mark. and very appropriate. I think that there is absolutely no need for asking any more further questions. So with that, we came to the end of this session, and I'll now request.
I just want to, sir, emphasize that even if you have questions later on, you can always email to us, and we will get back to you on the question. If there is any doubt, any questions that arise, maybe tomorrow when you think about it, or any doubt is there, even you can ask by email, and we will get back to you.
Sure, sir, and thank you so much. I'll request all participants to forward your questions to the secretariat, and we'll take it up. We'll send it to the BIS, and we'll get back with relevant answers as soon as possible. So, with that, we come to the end of the session, and I'll now request Shri Ravin Joshi ji, the IPP immediate past president, to give his vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Hello. Hello.
I'm sorry, there is some technical error. We are not able to connect with.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Arjinder, Ravi's mic is off, I think.
He's trying to correct.
Ravi, your mic is off. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear?
Yes, yes. I think you have two phones very near to each other. That's why your voice is echoing. One thing off. You have two phones. I think you're connected very near to each other. I think that is why there is a bit of disturbance.
Hello.
Ravi, you have to disconnect the other device which has got no video.
Please use only one device.
You
I'm extremely sorry that due to technical reasons, Ravi Joshi ji is not able to connect with us.
Sir, anyone else can give the vote
Anyone
of
else?
thanks?
Raghavan sir? Raghavan Datta ji?
हाँ जी.
Yes, sir. Sir, can
Okay,
you?
I go and give it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I thank you all for joining in and participating in this wonderful exposure actually to the activities of the BIS. So this is a preliminary program that is going to give us that is showing us the path to actually understanding what a BIS does and how it is going to help us printers. So we look forward to more such programs. I thank Khosla ji for his wonderful presentation. Mr. Harjinder Singh for his wonderful coordination and actually starting this program off, and to Mr. Kalita and Mr. Ravi Joshi ji for the participation. Unfortunately, the Director General, Mr. Roy Chaudhary, could not join in for for his personal preoccupations. We hope that he'll be able to come in later programs. So I thank you all. The webinar will be available on the AIFB YouTube channel shortly. You will be able to view the entire proceedings there. So I thank you all and good evening. That is all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.